Hi once again. This is going to be your final screencast, your final little tutorial for the tasks that you are doing. And I am going to show you now how to make your works cited when you are using library resources as your sources of information, how to make your works cited in a Google Doc. So we're going to start out. I've got a blank Google Doc here in front of me. You see my cursor is over here on the left side of the page, left justified. I'm going to change it so that I can be aligned in the center. And I'm just going to type works cited because that is what we're going to name our reference list or the list of resources that we are using today. Then I'm just going to enter down twice and come back to left justified for actually pasting in my works cited MLA citations. I'm going to go back. I have a tab open here. As you saw in the last video, I showed you how to locate the MLA format within our library resources for an item that you are going to be citing. So I'm just going to right click and copy this works cited here for my first article. And I'm going to come back into my Google Doc and I'm going to Control V to paste my citation in. Now you'll notice, as I mentioned in the first video where I showed you how to find the MLA, that the MLA format uses a hanging indent. So the first line is left justified and the second line is the one that is tabbed over 5 spaces. When I pasted it here into my Google Doc, you'll notice that it did just left justify everything. So we are going to have to fix that. I'm going to show you how to do that in a minute. But first I want to go back and get another couple of citations to add to my works cited so that I can get a list going of a couple different sources here. So I'm just going to hit return twice in here so I can go back into my search results and find another item to cite. This time I'm going to go with this ebook. And you'll see that the citation information comes up a little bit differently in this one, but again, you can find the word cite very clearly up here at the top. And if I click here, my citation information will come up. And again, I'm going to scroll through until I find the MLA version that I need. I will highlight that and copy it. And then I'm going to come back into my Google Doc and I will paste that one in. One thing that you need to keep in mind as you are pasting in your citations, your works cited list has to be in alphabetical order, depending on what the first letter, the first item is here on your citation line. So we have the author's last name of this article is May, and then this one is Edgar Allan Poe himself. So we are okay with alphabetical order for these two. But if I go back here and go back into my result list, it is something that I'm going to have to keep in mind as I'm doing my citations. So if I go into now this next one, and I'd like to cite this one, I'm going to come down to the MLA citation once again, highlight it. I'm going to copy it and paste it back in to my works cited. And as you see, this one, the author's last name begins with a C. So I'm going to have to highlight this one again and cut it. And it will have to be the first one in my list now. I'm going to get rid of this extra space so that my list is once again in alphabetical order. Okay, the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to highlight all of these. And as you can see, oops, sorry, let me unhighlight real quick. As you can see, there's kind of a gray, like highlighted feature on here already for the items that I copied and pasted. So I want to highlight them. And then I want to come over here to highlight color and select none to get rid of that background because we don't want that in the background. And you'll see that the font here is a little bit smaller than my main font. It will depend on what your teacher instructs as far as your fonts go. I was always taught that it had to be Times New Roman 12. So I'm going to change everything to be Times New Roman 12 for my list here, but just follow whatever it is that your teachers have told you. And the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to highlight, actually, no, I don't think I need to highlight. I want to put my cursor, oh no, I lied. I do want to highlight, sorry. I'm going to highlight my 3 citation items again. I'm going to go to Format, and I'm going to come over here to Align and Indent because, as I mentioned, we need to make sure that we have the hanging indent option being used for these citations. So, Format, Align, and Indent, and then I want to come down to the bottom where it says Indentation Options. I'm going to select that. Here there is a place for a special indent. I'm going to select that, and I'm going to choose hanging, and it will bring it over 0.5, which is what I want. And then I will hit apply. And as you see, it nice and neatly brought all of my citations over so that I have the hanging indent now on all 3 of them. This one looks a little bit different because it didn't want to cut off this web address and it tried to fit it all on one line. So that's why it's stopped here for this last one, but that's okay. We can leave it just like that. And now you have your works cited that you can either hand in like this, or you can copy and paste this and put it on the last page of your paper or whatever it is you need to do for your assignment.